Hi, I'm Erin. I'm one of the co-founders of Ancient Harmony Healing. We are a wellness company formed by 4 women who each had a chronic illness ranging from eczema to lupus that we healed using medical medium protocols, nature, and light energy. And I'm so excited to be able to do this class with you guys today. I am a medium and an intuitive healer, and I want nothing more than to bring information to you that helps you heal, that helps you elevate, and that helps bring peace to your life. So this class is about getting through rough patches. I want to tell a little bit of a personal story before I get into it, just because I think it might be relevant. So sometimes when we are walking the path that we're meant to walk, there are forces outside of us, mainly a somewhat sentient collective consciousness, and there's other forces too that are invested in keeping us at a low frequency and repeating harmful patterns because it's their food source, basically, us creating energy, negative energy, sad energy. So I think you'll find that sometimes when you elevate and you take a new direction that you might find some pushback. And after the last class I recorded, I really experienced some pushback to the point where I was so drained of energy and, going down that dark negative path, the negative self-talk and all that stuff that we talk about. And I wanted to do this class to talk about how I lift up out of something like that. Because as we elevate, there are things that are going to come and try to get us to repeat old patterns and to keep us stuck. So let's not do that. I think the most important thing to keep in mind when you're going through a rough patch is what is true and what isn't true. So what's true is the things that you thought about yourself when you were in that good high frequency space. What's true is those moments of inspiration. What's true is the light. That's the only thing that's true. And so when you're getting attacked and you are going through a rough patch, you don't have to, maybe you don't feel it in that moment. You say, maybe I don't feel these positive things in this moment, but I know that they're true. And I know that I'm going to reconnect with them. So I think that's the number one most important thing. And it's the thing that I came back to over and over again. I have tried to start classes in the past, work with people in the past, and I always, something always got in the way. So it doesn't surprise me that this rough patch happened to me, but it's a beautiful thing when you can finally break that pattern and show up for yourself, for the light. You are the light. So there is a toolkit that I bring around with me, and it's not a physical one, although you can include physical things in your toolkit. But if you're going through a rough patch, I'm going to give you a list of the things that I use to elevate myself, to break that pattern and to reconnect to the light, to end my own suffering. So the first thing that I do is, and you don't have to do these in this order, but these are just some tools that I use. I elevate the frequency of my space through visualization. I talked about this in the last class, how we engage with objects and other things around us, even if they're not in our physical space all the time, unless we call back our energy. That's the first facet of that. And the other facet of that is that as we engage with the objects and things around us, we alter the frequency of those things around us, which is why a house can have a good feeling or a bad feeling. So I will visualize that whatever's in my visual range in that moment is the only thing that exists, and everything else is just space. around this one little patch that I can see. And everything that I do see, I visualize that it is created with pure light energy, the highest frequency, the highest vibration energy, so that you can start changing the frequency of space. There's nothing I think as healing and as helpful as having high positivity around you when you're going through a rough patch. So that's one of the things I do. You can also use essential oils and crystals, whatever vibrates with you, whatever connects you to that good feeling. Use the tools around you to help you change those frequencies. Saging, that's another one that you can do as far as your physical space. So, get your physical toolkit, get your visualization toolkit. And then the other thing is ask for help. And help from within, help from the light, help from within, help from without. And I love in Medical Medium's first book, there's a whole chapter on angels and how to pray to angels to get them to help you, because things are kind of crazy on the planet right now, and their powers are vast but finite. And by saying their names out loud, you're heard. And it definitely works. I've experienced many amazing things calling on these angels, and he gives you a list of their names. So check out his first book. You might be able to Google it and also find some stuff online. You can also go to the library to get his book if you don't want to purchase it. So it's the other thing, ask the light for help. Always ask for help. And then I run through my negativity checklist. So I talked about this in my very first video, negative encounters, negative things that happen out, the common things that we run into out there. So I check in with, what are my thought forms doing? Our thoughts have form. And especially if we think the same types of thoughts over and over again, and those thoughts reside in our field and feed back to us what we feed them. So you can have negative thought forms in your field, you can have positive thought forms in your field. With the negative ones, these are your creations. You just simply look at them and call them back into the light inside you. You say, it's time to go in a different direction. Let's go in a different direction. I created you. Thank you for doing exactly what I told you to do, but now we're going to go in this new direction. Why don't you come inside this light right in my heart center, and let's transmute. Let's choose a new way. So just let your fears come up. Do that exercise. Bring them into your light. Transmute them. Change those thought patterns. You can either absorb that energy or create new thought patterns to keep in your field so that you have positive feedback coming towards you. The other thing is the collective consciousness. That's also a negative. We have, in this moment in time, a negatively oriented collective consciousness. That's why there's famine and war and everything that there is, a negative slant to things. But we can change that, we can shift that, and by not feeding it. So the most interactions I have with the collective consciousness is just kind of that doubt. It instills a sense of doubt, an orientation of negativity. And you'll make it, if you think it's this big, difficult thing to overcome, then it will be. But if you just say, yeah, I see you, I understand that you're there, but I'm going to choose this direction. So, goodbye. That's kind of what I do with the collective consciousness stuff. And sometimes it can get confusing as to whether or not you're dealing with your thought forms or negative thought forms or the collective consciousness, but sometimes they're kind of one and the same, just because the negative thought forms are only negative because they're influenced by this negative collective consciousness. So, do your thought forms, just tell that collective consciousness or whatever, yeah, I've heard that before, but I'm going to choose this direction now. I'm going to go in this direction and focus on the light. Feed the light and it'll feed you back. The next one that I had talked about was sometimes souls that have not moved on have cut themselves off from that light source completely, and they need food. So they'll try to trigger certain frequencies inside you that'll feed them, like either fear or guilt or whatever it is. And you can just close your eyes and ask your higher self to show you if there's any of these souls around you. And if you see anything or you get a feeling about something, just put the light around it and set it free. Imagine it going into the light. You don't need to do that. You don't need to engage with it. You can just send it on, and they'll have to go. They can't stay in your space if you don't want them there. So just get conscious of what's there so you can send those things on. And then of course the last one is the negative entities that have never been human. These ones are rare, and you'll definitely know if you're engaging with one of them. They're really good at triggering fear frequency. So you can treat them and do it exactly the same way that you do with the souls. Sometimes it just feels harder because of how good they are at triggering that fear frequency. So you can also seek out somebody, like a person of high faith, that's harder to shake people's frequency when they have that high faith. Get them to clear your space, get them to clear your house. You can also reach out to me if you have any questions about that last one. So yeah, after I do all that, if I'm still sitting in my rough patch and I'm feeling like drained and I can't get out, I'll just go through that whole checklist again, do it again. Just do it again, make the time, do it again. And even after that, like this last time that I was being attacked, it took a couple days. So it's just in that moment, just know that you're gonna come out on the other end, and don't let them for a second convince you that the light that you felt isn't true, that the light in you and your potential isn't true, because it's only the light that's true. That is the only truth that matters. And so anytime you're going through a rough patch, if you connect to that, you will shift. You will. So that is my process of going through rough patches. I'm offering intuitive life coaching on Zoom, one-on-one meetings, and I'm doing it sliding scale to make sure that everybody that needs help has the opportunity to get help. So reach out to me at info@ancientharmonyhealing.com if you'd like to work together. Before we close, let's just do a blessing to help elevate that collective consciousness. So close your eyes and imagine a beautiful, bright white orb coming out of your chest and floating in front of you. And then see that orb going up into the sky, and the higher it gets, the bigger it grows. The light grows and grows and grows, goes higher and higher, until there's a huge orb in the sky. Now see that orb breaking up into billions of smaller orbs. And every single one of those orbs, send it into the heart of every living being. That's every human, every animal, Mother Earth. Feel that light, ignite the light of every living being around the world. Now let's surround this beautiful image with the whitest light and send it out. Thank you so much for doing the closing blessing with me. I look forward to talking to you guys next week. We're going to be talking about interactions with other people, both negative and positive. Take care. Be well. Love you guys. Bye.